Are we ready?
I have to fart again.
Okay, fart real quick and then we'll.
Fart real
I
fast.
think I just shit myself, but that.
All right, let's go with it. Let's roll with it.
Just
We're doing it
roll
live. All right, here we go. Hello and welcome back to the FTHcast for episode number 20.
Holy
We did
balls.
20 episodes.
Is that official? Did we actually figure out which one we're on?
Yeah, I figured it out last time. And we've got both of the gang back. Of course, I'm Free the Hawk. I'll introduce myself first because that's the most honorable thing to do. Also known as Paul. And of course, we've got Kyle. Say hello, Kyle.
Hello.
And Nathan. Say hello, Nathan.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about video games. We are gamers. We're not journalists. I feel like I'm gonna write down an official explanation introduction that's like has all the legal jargon of like we're a bunch of noobs who have no idea what we're talking about.
Most of what we say is probably not true
and
or factual
and full of opinions, so just ignore
Yes.
everything.
So pretty much just don't listen to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Just no. Wait. That's not.
That
right.
doesn't sound like a very good business
No.
model.
All right. Well, since we're all here, let's start with the topic of every podcast, the main topic, the best topic. What you guys been playing? Nathan, you go first. You weren't on the last one.
Okay. Probably like half of the world. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto. Pretty. I never played any of the other ones, but this I don't know. I like GTA 5 with the exception of online, having all those problems.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I tried out the Battlefield 4 beta.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Are you liking that?
Okay. I don't know if you guys did. You guys play Battlefield 3 beta?
Yes.
Yes. I
Do you
believe.
remember how
Yeah.
sucky it was? Like how many glitches and everything that was in it?
I heard this one's pretty rough, but have you had other
Right.
experiences?
No, I was about to say it's like as far as gameplay, I had no problem with like glitches, but all the textures looked horrendous. Like it was
Yeah,
so bad. Like textures weren't loading. Like cars looked like they were something from N64. But I mean, other than that, like you could kill more than one person with one magazine, which was kind of nice.
Oh yeah.
And I was whole lot more accurate. That may just be me, but I thought it was pretty sweet though. I mean,
It may just be that I'm really, really good at it.
right, exactly. I mean, I guess you didn't expect much from a beta, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And they might, you never know though, because like they could have the beta set up and then just like right before it releases, adjust it and make it so, you know, it's harder to kill people and stuff. Like,
Right.
and maybe it's that they're trying to get like people to get a lot of kills and stuff to test some of that stuff, or it may just be that they didn't realize how easy it was, or it just may be intended. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I watched a video about Total Biscuit did some stuff about the beta, and it looks pretty good. But even on his high-end PC, there was textures that were wrong and stuff like that just didn't come out.
And Battlefield 3 beta was the same way, and like the actual game just looked so much better. So that didn't really worry me.
Yeah.
So
I think everything in that game but the third-person character models looked awesome.
Yeah.
Whenever it shows like the
Right.
kill cam, like it looks like a golden eye. Like I just thought it was so
the blood
bad.
starts streaming down the
Yeah,
page.
I mean, I've got faith in DICE. I've probably talked about it on here before 100 times, but to me, their best multiplayer game was Bad Company 2.
Yeah.
And like even playing that now, like, I mean, yeah, there's games that look better, but it still looks good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously the scale, I mean, I'm sure has something to do with it, obviously, but they just need to. Battlefield 3 to me, some maps were almost too big, and then
Well,
I
they're
think
doing
that
64 players in this one now.
I know.
yeah, I
Which is-
know.
Only-
which I feel-
only
which
on the
I'm
ni-
excited about, kind of.
It's only on the next generation, not on the
Right,
original.
right.
Yeah,
But still, I'm kind of scared that it's going to just be so hectic that I won't enjoy
See,
it.
that-
But I don't know.
that was the maps in Bad Company 2. Like they were huge, but they were really like refined. Like all the action, like each map. It doesn't sound very good when I describe, but like they had like corridors, but around it was open. So like all of the action would take place in like a centralized area,
But there's
like
pathways.
but around it there's room. There's waterways for vehicles, rooms for tank to go. So it was really just, I guess the refined is the only word I can find for. But it just seems like with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, obviously with Levolution and stuff like that, it's just they're like, how big can we make it?
Yeah. Well, I definitely heard Battlefield 3 had some really bad map problems, and some of them where there's just too many choke points and stuff, and it just didn't make any sense. But I don't know. We can only see one map right now, and it's the one map they showed off. So we can only hope that that's the most basic of all the maps, and that the rest will be a lot better.
I was happy to see that. I felt like they upped the destruction level on it, which was kind of nice.
That was the thing about Bad Company 2. The destruction was awesome in it, and then Battlefield 3, like you'd shoot a wall and then it would just like glitch out and disappear, and like there would be some really bad particle effect, and you're like, oh,
right.
All right, Kyle, what have you been playing?
Well, like half the world, like Nathan just said, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Took me about 3 days to get into multiplayer after it went live, but the scope of that game just keeps I don't know. I'm flying around with 3 of my friends in a helicopter. Like you literally, like anywhere you can go or anywhere you can see, you can go. But yeah, I mean, playing that, and I'm gonna lie and say that I've been playing. I did a complete playthrough of all 3 Mass Effects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good job. One day?
In 2 days. 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's enough time.
There's not.
Even if you played every hour.
I think like the last 2 of these that I've been on, I've said I've been playing Grand Theft Auto. But I mean, it really, it just, there's so much to do in that. That's the only, I want to play other stuff. I've got other stuff that I've been meaning to play, but
yeah,
I just, with the work grind and,
you got to be playing all the Arkham games to get ready for Arkham Origins.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I cannot wait for Arkham Origins.
I know. I do want to replay Asylum.
I need to check on that.
I really wish that was coming out on Xbox One or PS4, like next gen consoles. That'd been nice.
I think they kind of want to finish it up because it's obviously like this is going to be a trilogy. Like this will probably be the last game in that series. They probably won't make another one. It wouldn't make sense to make another one in the story arc.
No.
So hopefully,
I feel like. Sorry. Go
I was just gonna say hopefully they'll take their time and they'll just do something really different and new.
Well, I feel like
or they'll make a Superman game.
Well, I don't think there will be another Arkham game per se, because I mean, obviously the first one was based on the Arkham Asylum like graphic novel,
right?
I think maybe who's doing the Warner Brothers Toronto or something like that, or who is it?
I don't know.
I think so. I can't remember exactly.
I feel like it'll I guess probably be set in the Arkham verse, but I don't think it'll be called Arkham. Like they might, I don't know what, but it wouldn't make sense to me. I don't know. I guess I kind of agree with you, Paul, to make another. I don't know what the next Arkham game would be. Like
just do an offshoot. Yeah, just do a totally new Batman game because I love those games.
Or like I was saying, like visit some other superheroes and do some other really awesome stuff with a lot of bad guys like that. Like, I think it'd be fun to play a Superman game like that where. I mean, obviously, it'd have different mechanics. You wouldn't be a detective or anything, but it would be interesting to have to go around the city of Metropolis and fight a whole bunch of different, the villains and stuff. Because I don't know, or whoever else. Like they could do, like, go brave and do Wonder Woman or something stupid like that.
Man, they could probably do an awesome. Like Nightwing game, like make it like parkour, almost like Assassin's Creed, but just like a giant free roam. Man, that would be awesome.
Or Aquaman,
Aquaman,
or the Flash, because everybody knows the Flash's villains, like that.
Captain Cold, yeah. God, what
Who?
the comic book noobs?
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd.
Is he Flash?
No, I think he's just like a general DC, like probably Superman. He was
Flash
from like
has fought him, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
everybody's fought him. I've seen Batman fight him.
Mr. Mxyzptlk
or Mr. Plastic. How about that one?
Mr. Plastic could be the worst character ever created.
except for Blue Beetle, Ant-Man, any character in Fantastic.
No. No, he exceeds that.
Right, yes.
Oh, anyway. I did a dirty thing. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 also.
You dirty, dirty man.
I saw that online and I was like, oh, that online's actually kind of cool idea. And I get on there and it's okay. Of course, there's all the problems with it. We'll get to that. But even still, like, it's not what I want it to be. It's still not what I want to Grand Theft. Like, I don't necessarily like. I would like it better if I could get into a world and it encouraged you to co-op with the other people as opposed to just run around and shoot other people.
See, I think they tried to create that sense to an extent because there's like you're like a good guy or a bad, or I don't think that's the term they use. For some reason, I can't remember right now. But like, I guess if you, I don't know if there's a certain penalty if you actually like go around shooting people. But
Yeah.
I think like in like the game types, like Last Team Standing or something like that, like if
The
you,
title.
yeah, like if you leave games or stuff like that, like if you're a bad sport, you'll play with other bad sports.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. That was the problem with Red Dead. You'd get into a the free roam map, and then before you knew it, I mean, just somebody just shot your head off, and you couldn't do anything.
And the problem comes in with like the whole point of Grand Theft Auto 5, the storyline is these random people who would not normally come together to do like bank heists and stuff and like do these really big events.
Yeah, that's exactly like. You guys played single player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, those heist missions, those are my favorite missions from the single players where you get to organize your crew.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Are those in online or?
I'm not sure. I know there's missions.
Because that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like. I don't know. See, I haven't played it enough to understand how like the progression of it goes. Like, I wonder like when you get to higher level if there's missions that are like, okay, there's a vault in the whatever 100 story of the skyscraper. One guy needs to go, like, you know what I mean? Like that is what I.
Yeah, like some guy, one of your teammates repels from the ceiling, another one's flying a helicopter, or someone's sniping, or something like that. Yeah, that would be sweet.
Like that, instead of just like, hey, go get the meth.
Yeah, don't die.
Yeah, like don't die because it costs you money, which I think is stupid in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, I like it, but at the same time, it is different than what I guess was led to believe what it was like. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't do enough research.
What seems to happen is you end up getting all your friends together, you do one mission, and then you just kind of stay in that voting section where you just keep voting for missions because there's no real point to run around in free roam except for to do stupid stuff. Like, there's no real benefit to it. I mean, I think Trent was saying how you could like steal a car every hour, but it's only like cheap cars you can steal and sell those. You can buy a house. Like, there's nothing really to do in the open world that's interesting. I mean, I guess you can hold up stores together. Like,
but I mean, that
would get really repetitive, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that lost its novelty after like the first.
Yeah.
I mean, if I need cash, that's what I do. Like real quick, like if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need ammo before we go on this heist. Let's go rob a few stores real quick. But, I mean, after a while, I mean, it's just literally the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Like go in, get the cash, yell into your mic. The guy tosses you the money, and then you lose your wanted level, and then go do with the mission.
And then like the mission, when you start a mission though, like you have the option to just buy ammo there. And then as you level up, you just get weapons. Like, why can't I earn that money and then have to go spend that money? Like, I want it to be more of an immersive, like kind of like a role playing experience. Like, I've got to go do these things. Like, because that's the way the single player plays out. Like, you have to go and physically do these things. I don't know. It's so weird.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I was trying to. That's really the only thing I've been playing, so we can just go ahead and keep talking about this whole mess. Because,
I was really disappointed with the character creation / customization. Like, save me this heritage crap. Like, I don't understand. Every game that you're like, man, it'd be so awesome to create your own character and like go in and do this, and like they eventually come out with a game in that series that lets you do that, but the customization is like horrendous. And it's like, here's 3 different hairstyles and your face looks the same no matter what. Like, I want to be able to make myself.
And it was like a good idea, like as an option to be, especially since they have like the special dads. Did you see that?
Yeah, I got John Marston.
Yeah, and you can unlock more of those and have
really?
different ones, like as you play. I guess play different Rockstar games and stuff like that. But I was the same way. I was like, I just want to make my character look a certain way and then just move on. Like, I don't care who my dad or grandparents looked like. Like, let's just do this.
Well, Zach and I got into a game together, and we literally looked identical. I was like, this is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that
even us, we like, I don't know, me and Paul and Zach and Trent were playing earlier. I mean, we're a little different, but you
Not that
literally
much.
have the same
Yeah.
facial features. Like our noses were all the exact same.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the people, I guess, that probably listen to this, be like, that's so stupid that you're complaining about that. But at the same time, it's like, you're gonna sit there and tell me that they made like this size of a game, and then my character customization
Was that
the
limited?
the most in-depth thing you can customize about your character is your clothes, like
Yeah.
hair, the way you look. I mean, that's all like.
And even that was somewhat pre-chosen for you based on like
Yeah.
what your choices were for like how, whatever your stupid choices were. at the
Maybe it's
beginning.
just me, but what the heck is the point of choosing? Oh, here's what my granddad looks like, so this affects what I look like.
That's
Why
what
not just let you Skyrim and just?
That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Like, I don't get rid of like I shouldn't have to sit here and pick through like my mom's grandmother, my mom's granddad. Like that's not how I. There's no way to get the way you want to look out of that.
Yeah, there was,
Right.
and it just wasn't. It's like I said, it's kind of a neat idea, but it wasn't executed well for one, because you could barely see what your grandparents looked like, and there was no option to not do it that way. There was no satisfying option. Like if you just didn't really care and you just kind of want to mess around and see how stupid you can make yourself look, like that'd be a really interesting kind of control/random way of doing it. But it just wasn't. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It wasn't
Like
successful in any way, shape, or form.
I just kept hitting random until I discovered that John Marston was a dad on there, and then I was like, oh, that's John Marston, and then I just went from there. Like I just hit like save and continue, and just went with the red, just because I was tired of looking at stupid things and just
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, and then of course, let's go ahead and start talking about just logging in and the mess of that, because that was, I mean, obviously it was a big deal, and it even to this day, a week later, they're still having huge problems with it. Zach was talking about how his character his whole profile keeps getting deleted every time
Yeah.
he quits.
I can't save personal vehicles. I've
Yeah.
spent like
Rockstar already came out and said, at least in single player, that the garages don't work right.
Yeah.
but
Which
I mean,
sucks.
well, yeah, because like I guess the first time you start multiplayer, the car thing is pretty much free. You get a free tracker, free insurance. I was like, oh, awesome! I found an awesome car, made it look how I wanted, spent a little bit of money on it. It didn't save it. I got back in the next time, did the whole process, but this time I had to pay for it. It didn't save it. I did it again, did the whole process again. So I'm sitting here losing money,
Yeah.
and then it still doesn't save it. And like Trent's like, he's like, you go to your phone and then go to insurance. I'm like, it's not on here. He's like, you didn't buy it. And I'm like, no, I bought it. I know I did. So it's like, it's just stupid.
That's stupid. And I don't understand where they had the confidence to release even just the single player, let alone like the multiplayer, without any kind of like public testing or whatever. Because like it was just painfully obvious from the beginning of the release that it wasn't tested properly. Like obviously they had to test it a little bit, otherwise they would be stupid. But it was very painfully obvious that it was not tested properly, because it just didn't work. And it didn't, like I made a character and I would keep trying, and I would delete the update and install the update. It didn't work, and eventually I just deleted my character and started all over again. It worked fine.
I went to the complete extreme and I deleted everything. Like I could not get it to. I remember when it wasn't even the first day, I don't think, of the multiplayer. Like it was a few days after. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to play this. Like it was like 3:30 in the afternoon whenever I started, and I didn't get into a game until like 7:00.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever I tried everything that was in there, their fact section about troubleshooting and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm just going to delete everything off my system. So, I mean, I didn't have a lot of the campaign done, but it was probably about 25% or so. So, got rid of that and just started completely over.
That sucks. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done it because like all I wanted to do, and I'll probably end up as soon as like some of our friends like kind of like wean off the multiplayer and stop playing it as much, I'll probably just end up doing this single player. But like all I want to do is like you were saying, like buy a car, fix it up, get a house, fix it up. Like that's all I want to do. Like I don't really care about the missions. I don't care about deathmatch and stuff. I just want to earn money so I can like buy a garage and fill it up with nice cars and get a nice house and do that kind of stuff. Like that's just me. That's the way I like to play those kind of games. Like I just like to collect stuff. So I don't know. Let's move on though, because we'll probably end up talking about Modern whatever this stupid game is. Grand Theft Auto.
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare 5. San Andreas. Every single week for the next like 2 years. But yeah, we'll move on. Because I do want to talk about Half-Life 3 and this whole hoax that happened last week, and this letter, or it was a blog post that looked like a letter from Gabe Newell. I have no confirmation if it's real or not, but I've seen a couple people tweet about it and stuff. So I think it's worth at least mentioning. But yeah, so Half-Life 3, I don't know. Nathan, you were talking about how like excited you were when you heard this.
Oh yeah, man. I love Half-Life 2, of course, like everyone else, and that's just always the ongoing joke is that Valve doesn't know how to count to 3. They always make games the first and second ones, but they never can make a third one.
So were you like, I don't know, like?
Well, when I first heard it, I was like, oh my god, like, because everyone always.
It's finally happening.
Yeah, like everyone always makes these jokes or like these crazy outlandish theories that Half-Life 3 is going to be announced because they did this and this. There's this little Easter egg here, so this means Half-Life 3 will be announced. And so then when they actually make a trademark for it, I was like, well, this is freaking awesome. But yeah, then I was crushed when I found out it was all fake.
Did you ever play the original Half-Life?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Did you? To me, Half-Life 2 was great, but Half-Life the original was amazing.
You like the first one better?
But and I want to ask a few more questions before I get too deeply in this. But it has to do with what those games meant to the industry at the times they released. Like that's what's important about it. But
right.
Yeah,
we'll talk more about that because I've actually have gathered some information about this topic, and I could literally probably talk an hour by myself about it.
By yourself, to yourself?
By myself, to myself. I've done it before. And do it again. So, Kyle, I don't know. What's your opinion? Like, there's some, I won't say theories. I've heard one person mention, and he was kind of joking, that, like, maybe they put that out there, and then when they saw that everybody saw it, they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. So the only reason they took it back was because they wanted to keep it hidden still.
Yeah.
Or do you think it was just a straight hoax?
Well, first of, I mean, how many people can? I'm assuming the trademark was from like a legitimate.
Oh yeah.
Like source. So
it was a government European.
Right. So
trademark.
First you have to think. Okay, how many people are allowed to go and trademark? I mean, something that's obviously, I mean, Half-Life's an established brand. So, I mean, unless it was like another product out in the world somewhere that freakishly had the same name. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure you
Gabe
could.
Newell's just being a douche.
No, I bet anybody could do it, but because if Valve doesn't own the trademark on Half-Life 3, then you can probably do it. And it was just the symbol too, but you're going to be at risk of lawsuits. I mean, if it's something like that.
That's what I mean. Like, unless you're willing to risk, some probably like massive lawsuit. I mean,
yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I think it's like how any rumor gets started. I'm sure there's some deep down a minuscule of truth somewhere, but at the same time, I bet it's like you said, they may have done something and then realized, wait a second, this isn't what we intended. Let's get it out of there and stuff like that. I mean, at this point, this far along in its development cycle, which now I think it's not. I think at one point it was being developed. I don't think it is right now. I feel like
Yeah.
they've gone all hands on deck on this, like the whole Steam initiative and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think it is somewhere, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon before we hear anything about it. And
Yeah.
I honestly don't think Valve cares at all, really, that they aren't announcing anything. I really don't think that they care.
How would you feel? And I'm speaking to both of you guys. Like, how would you feel if like they didn't make a third anything and they just made a new IP?
I'd be pissed.
But
I mean, that's
not seriously, but it'd be disappointing. But then again, I'm sure the new IP would be pretty awesome.
exactly, right? And that's kind of my point. Like, I don't remember what happened in Half-Life 2. Barely remember what happened in Half-Life 1. Who cares? Robots attacking the Earth and aliens. Like, it's what was cool about that game is what made those games cool. It's like the engine was cool and the gameplay was cool and the storytelling was cool. But who cares really what happened? Who cares about Gordon Freeman and this G-Man? Like, who cares, right? Seriously. I don't remember.
Now that you're saying that, I'm kind of like, I guess. I mean, I couldn't tell you. There's very few things that I could like sit down and like give you a in-depth, detailed like account of what the story is or something like that. So I mean, yeah, I agree with what you're saying as far as like what makes those games so special to people was I'm sure there are some people out there that, because don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm intrigued by the G-Man. I want to know what that's all about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, but every time I play it, what makes me think it's awesome is that I'm like, this game came out like so long ago, and like there's current games that don't have like like this in it, like the physics and blah blah blah.
Right.
Blah. It's not necessarily. I'm like, this story is so cool. Gordon Freeman doesn't talk. It's so awesome. So I mean, I agree with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through a quick timeline. This might actually be really long, but I'm just gonna go through this as quick as I can. They started out with the original Half-Life. Now the reason the original Half-Life is so good is for two reasons. One, it's a very, very solid shooter, and it's one that's kind of medium paced. It wasn't a really fast paced like I can't think of the game now, but like the old school
Tournament.
Yeah, like that. It's very medium paced, but at the same time, like it's immersed. Like the single player storyline was immersive because instead of like walls of text popping up or whatever, you would have stuff that happened while you were still in control. Like there weren't cutscenes. You would go in and all of a sudden monsters would pop out and this would happen and that would happen. And all these crazy things were happening while you were playing. And so there was never this immersion break of, oh, here's a cutscene. Oh, here's this or that. You would walk up to a character and he would just start talking to you. Like those are big steps in just general first-person shooter storytelling to the point where every single first-person shooter that is made today has at least some, if not all, those elements. Like that's the way Call of Duty runs. That's the way Battlefield runs. You're playing and stuff's happening. Like those live events are happening while you're playing. It's not just enemies being thrown at you. Stuff's happening. Things are blowing up. Stuff's flying over the place. Then, of course, they eventually made Half-Life 2, and I think the biggest. I mean, in the original Half-Life, they had some of the physics stuff, but in Half-Life 2, that was the big thing. They added all these physics that allowed your character to control them, like the gravity gun and all this stuff. But again, it was a step forward, but it wasn't as big of a step forward as the original Half-Life. Like, it was a better engine. It had the physics stuff, and it was more from the modding scene that both those games really like shined, right? Because that's where Team Fortress came from. That's where Counter-Strike came from. That's where Gary's mod came from. These are all mods made by other people for their games. Like, and that's another reason why these games are so special is because people then take these games and turn them into something better or turn them into something different and turn them and make another icon out of those same engines. And so I think that at the time was important for Valve. It wasn't about delivering a title like Half-Life and telling a story. It was about delivering something to the people that they could then evolve into better things. And so then you have Portal, right? Portal came out, it exploded, blew people's minds out. And it's not so much that you can walk through walls and appear somewhere else. It's also that now puzzle games are a first-person thing, and they're a AAA thing. Like puzzle games before were like side-scrolling, move the boxes around. Now all of a sudden you got a AAA style title that's in first person and also tells an immersive story. Now, before I move on, I'm going to talk about story and the way Valve tells a story. And it's very interesting. And it's a way World of Warcraft like sucks people in, and it's a way Dead Space sucks people into certain parts of the story. They put things out there that maybe like the cake is a lie, or there's this stupid gnome you got to drive around, but they don't ever explain it, right? Like that's an important part. They give you a detail, and they put it all over the place so you see it 1,000 times, but then they never say anything about it. They never confirm it, deny it. They just, and that's important because then now you're drooling to know what that is. Like, oh, what is that? What is this? Does this mean something? And so now you have people on forums like conspiracy theories, like this is this because this is that and the other. And Valve did that very, very well for just about every single game they made. And so that's why even now when people see Valve say anything 3 times, they like poop their pants because they're like, oh, it's Half-Life 3. Now, the last series, we got to remember they just made Portal 2, and they are the type of company that makes one game at a time. The only exception is their Left 4 Dead series, which I just learned was another company that got absorbed by Valve. So it wasn't necessarily the same team that made like Portal and Half-Life that made the Left 4 Dead series.
Now, can I ask you a quick question?
Go for it.
I know the first Portal was... didn't like a team from like MIT of students like from MIT or something like that like come up with that concept? Or
probably so. It probably was a mod, because if you look at the original Portal gun, it looks a lot like the original Gravity gun and actually acts a lot like the original Gravity gun. And I think you're right about that. I'm not sure the details of who it was, but
that's the thing. I can't remember if I know that they didn't come up. Like, it was not a Valve original IP, I don't believe. Like, I think somebody came up with it, and they kind of took it and, like, developed it.
Yeah.
But, so I just think that's kind of interesting.
And that goes back to my thing of saying, like, Team Fortress and Counter-Strike. I mean, those are owned by Valve, but they weren't necessarily originally created or thought out by Valve employees. Or mods that eventually got bought by Valve. They were like, hey, we'll pay you for this mod to have the right to use this as a game. There was even like there was some original Half-Life mod. There's like Blue Force or something, and you played as like what was it?
No, I was gonna say I remember there was one that I remember. It was called Day of Defeat, and it was a World War II FPS mod.
Oh, really?
It was pretty awesome.
The Blue Force one played in the original story, except for you played as the like cops who come and attack you at the end, or like the special forces team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So my point being is like their whole job and their whole mindset wasn't necessarily as a game developer. It was as a definition. Like they defined video games basically, and I think that's kind of where their focus is now. Now, let's talk about this mysterious letter, and I'm going to link this into I'm going to link this up into like the YouTube page, and I'm also going to put it in the summary of the summary of the iTunes page. So if you're listening to this, you can find it there, and it's a link to this blog post, and it has Gabe Newell, and he's basically like, we're changing the world of PC. Why are you guys bugging me about Half-Life 3? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I understand you like the story, but we're more about innovation than we are about telling stories, yada, yada, yada. I've spoken for a long time, so somebody interrupt me.
Well, I was just going to say, but also keep in mind that we cannot neither confirm or deny that this is real, but
it's worth reading, because
yeah,
even if it is fake, I could see him having this kind of mindset where he's putting all this money and effort and billions of dollars into developing this new operating system based on Linux and these new machines to bring new people into PC and to open up kind of the console market into this more open source, not super closed off Windows Sony market, and really kind of change the game like in a larger way than just developing a video game. And he probably gets tweets all the time like, hey bro, we need to play Half-Life 3 because I gotta shoot the G-Man in the face. And he's like, no, you're missing the point of what we've been doing for the last few years. But I don't know, it uses some harsh language, and that's really what makes me think it's not him. I don't think he would cuss at people like that. I mean, he might have been that mad when he wrote it, but he's like, fine, we'll give you Half-Life. 3, and we'll make it yearly, and we'll put a crap ton of day one DLC in it and all this other microtransactions and stuff, and it's kind of funny.
That
Did he say that?
Well, in this letter, and I like I said, I'll put it in the link and I'll send it to you, Nathan, so you can read it, because I didn't send it to you earlier this week because I forgot. Sorry, but it's funny. It's funny if it's fake. It's weird if it's real. But like that I saw that, and then the next day I heard about the Half-Life 3 thing. So part of me was like, is he really gonna do this? Is he just gonna completely crap out Half-Life 3? But I don't know. Any last thoughts? What about you, Nathan? I've just talked for a whole lot. What do you think about what I had to say?
No, I think it was interesting. I mean, I don't really have much to add to it, but yeah, I don't know.
Thanks a lot, Nathan, for that deep insight.
I know.
But I don't know, like, just how do you feel about like if Valve never made another game again, but they changed the way video games are played, like, which is more important to you? Like, I mean,
Half-Life 3.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, and I guess and this is my defense. This is gonna be my opinion, and then you guys can say your opinion on this whole matter. Like, I don't care if they make Half-Life 3 again, but I want them to make a video game, because I'm tired of people I'm used to making good video games. Like, I'm used to buying their games and being really good and getting screwed over. Like, I bought Resident Evil 5. Horrible. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5. It was horrible. I want somebody I know who can make a solid video game with limited bugs, with a lot of intrigue and interest, like, and just good game design to make a video game and let me play it. Like, that's why I want Valve right now, because for me, I'm starving for that good single player like experience. Like, even Skyrim to an extent did not deliver on the level that I wanted it to.
That's what I mean, I agree with you 110% on that. Like, like when I first got into like video games, like really hardcore, like it was kind of during the advent of multiplayer, and it was starting to come out in every game. Like, I didn't care. I was like, I don't want to play multiplayer. Like, I want to play a good story. Like, that's why I want to play. And I don't know, ever since probably, I don't know, I'd say the first Mass Effect, maybe.
Yeah.
It seems like ever since, like, even Mass Effect 2, you kind of started to see the shift of, oh, it's going more action oriented. The story's not there. I don't know, but ever since then, it's like every game that I've been excited about, like, oh yeah, I want to play it. Like, I either don't finish because I get disinterested, or just plain sucks.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you. Like, I want somebody to put a game out. The Last of Us is an exception. That game was awesome.
Yeah, somebody that I can trust, and Valve is definitely one of those companies that, I mean, they've got us hooked. I mean, all they got to do is just keep reeling us in, and we'll keep buying them. I mean.
Right, and as much as it sucks, I don't want people pressuring them, like it sounds like, into making a game that they don't want to make right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't want a half-baked version. So, yeah, I mean...
Well, this is the last thing I've got on it. My whole thing, and there was a guy, I don't remember his name. I believe he worked for the site Gamefront. I'm going to use some foul language here, so kiddies, close your ears. The article was something to the effect of Valve announced Half-Life 3, or shit on, I can't talk. It was like, what's the saying of either shit or get off the pot? Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that finally what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I think so.
So they were like, either announce Half-Life 3 or don't. And like, my whole rationale is, this is not a game that we're like 2 years out of the release of the second one. This is, I mean, probably going on pushing 7-8 years.
It's been 9 years.
9 years. Well, that's the
almost 10.
and they've definitely made promises that they didn't keep with Half-Life.
Right. So I mean, what happened to episode 3?
Yeah.
And then if you're gonna make that, if you're just gonna completely bypass that and just make Half-Life 3, they have missed the point of where they just needed to say, we've done some reorganizing of the game, blah blah blah. There's not going to be like, just say what you have right now. Like, that would tide people over. But if they said, we are developing Half-Life 3, but right now the Steam boxes are our focus. But you will play Half-Life 3 in the future sometime. Like, that would be enough to appease people for now.
Yeah.
And so I think I agree with the guy. Either they need to announce it, or just say like this is not in current development. It won't be in the foreseeable future. We're working on new things.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we about met the mark on these 2 topics. We got to 2 topics. I don't think we'll ever do 3 topics on this show because there's just no point.
It's okay.
Yeah, but that's all good. All right, we'll go to Twitter real quick. Kyle, you are at whoamkyle, right? And Nathan, you are Heisenberg56. And I, of course, am FreeTheHawk on Twitter. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you can always find us on YouTube if you feel the need to, and listen to us there at youtube.com/FreeTheHawk. I'm hoping to actually put, maybe, I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm hoping to start doing actual game footage videos again, not just the podcast, but we'll see. And, of course, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can go over to itunes.com/nothing, I don't know, but just search for FTHcast, and you'll find us there, and you can subscribe to us and listen to us all the time. Of course, rate and subscribe on whatever site you listen to, whether it be YouTube or iTunes. Leave comments, let us know, tweet at us, tell us how you're doing, and we'll be happy to do whatever. And also, follow me for my live streams. I'm going to start doing, I am doing live streams now every once in a while. I'm doing one tonight, actually, right after this. So you probably won't see this if you're listening to it because this will come out in 2 days, but I'm rambling. Any other kind of housekeeping stuff we need to say? Anything you can think of? Game of the month? Batman? Arkham City?
Yeah,
series?
Arkham City series.
Yeah. The shitty series. Arkham Shitty.
Ah, yeah.
Right. Before we get too racist, let's sign off here. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.